Welcome to the second political forum sponsored by the Express Community Newspaper. I'm Bob Raleigh, I'll moderate tonight. And I'm going to go over some of the rules, and each of the candidates has a copy of those rules. And yes, I'm a little nervous. I love all you people, and I'm glad you're here. Each candidate, by alphabetical order, may make an opening statement of no longer than 3 minutes. On a rotating basis, each panelist will ask a question to be answered by each candidate. Each candidate has 3 minutes to answer each question. I'll flag you guys at 30 seconds. It went well last night, I'm sure it'll go well tonight. We'll rotate who answers, and with 5 candidates it gets a little bit confusing, but that's my job, so I'll keep you guys on task. We continue with questions and discussions for about an hour. We'll then allow questions from the audience, and we're going to be real informal about that. I'll be looking at those guys and say, hey, I'm going to get up and take some questions. That adds to the flavor of the evening. When you ask a question, we ask that you stand and talk loudly. That was one of the issues last night with some of the candidates not being able to hear, so we would appreciate if you stand and talk loudly. Each candidate then has 3 minutes for a closing statement by alphabetical order. And we're going to work to conclude at around 9, but we got done a little earlier than that last night. I think tonight with 5 candidates, we'll at least push 9. Okay, let's introduce our panelists. On the left here is Dave Stratton of WQBR Radio and Good News Magazine. In the middle is Lana Muffler, the managing editor at The Express. And next to her is Jerry Updegraff of the Clinton County Economic Partnership Operating Committee. I want to thank them for participating. Our candidates in alphabetical order are Rick Conklin, Dan Conway, Dan Harger, Pete Speltz, and Jeff Snyder. Thank you, gentlemen. They were all very prompt in responding, and we're honored to do this, and we appreciate you stepping forward to run for public office. So we'll get started with the opening statement with Mr. Conklin.
Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking the Express as well and, for putting on the forum and the Masons for permitting us to use this venue. Every candidate sitting in front of you tonight is hoping to be sitting in front of you again just prior to the November elections, obviously. It would make me extremely proud to be your representative at that time. I'm looking forward to serving in any way I can to move Clinton County forward. I'm going to share a few of what I see as issues right now, and I'm sure we'll address them later again, but let me just say that the times they are a-changing is a song from my youth said in the lyrics, and it is not an overstatement to say that we are in an economic revolution. And unfortunately, in revolution, there is pain. And when the money from Washington and Harrisburg dries up, we're going to be left with a decision on how we fund local government responsibly and with some kind of common sense. And we have to be looking to do that. We may wish, and nobody wishes more than I because of my involvement in the Heiner Challenge and the Mega Transit, nobody wishes more than I that we could fund the county on tourism dollars, but that's just not going to happen. There's not enough fishermen and hunters and kayakers and river rats like myself to make that possible. Marcellus Shale is here. It's not going to go anywhere. It's under the ground and they're going to come and get it. The fact of the matter is it brings problems with it. And I think we need to be in a position to deal with those problems. I think there's ways of doing that. I think, unfortunately, there has to be a tax. And that tax, I understand it's not up to the county to levy that tax, but I think there has to be a tax on that gas. And that tax needs to be divided up. Primarily, let's be honest, the municipality that gets the most damage needs to have the bulk of that money. So half of that should go directly to the municipality where that damage is being done. A fourth of that probably should go to the county to be distributed to the other municipalities that are secondary in the effect. And the third, or the last portion, the last quarter, I think, needs to go to education. If the state's going to cut education, it was never their job. It was always our job in the first place at the local level. It's our job to take it back, and it's our job to finance that. Obviously,
30 seconds.
After the newspaper article tonight, we see, we know there's a growing crime issue. We need to address that crime issue. We need to make sure that the local police forces working aggressively with an aggressive district attorney can keep our community safe. I hope that you'll give me an opportunity to make those things realities, to make sure those fundings are in place. Thank you very much.
Can everybody hear me? Can you hear me now? Hi. By now, everybody knows me. My name's Dan Conway. You know, I'm a Clinton County Commissioner. I first off would like to give everybody a thank you to express my supporters, my family, and thank you all for your support tonight. And just to give a little bit of history about myself and my background, roughly about 8 years old, God bless my mother's hair, I started to work. My mom had a family of 5, and we knew what poor was all about. I worked my way through high school. My mom supported me. She worked 2 jobs to keep 5 children going. And I went out my own at 18, bought my first house at 18, was a landlord at 19. Since then, I built my own retirement program, and I invested my retirement program funds, some of it, to do this campaign to make Clinton County a more affordable county. Thank you.
My name's Dan Harder. I run for this office before, come pretty close a couple times, but I've never given up on the challenge of that. I want to express my, I think Express has given us a great opportunity here tonight. Good audience, terrific audience. Thanks for coming, because I think you need to know what we're all about. Also, the candidates that are running. This is great. We have 5 Republican candidates here tonight to choose from. A couple years ago when I ran, one other time, there was only maybe 3 of us that were even interested in this office. With 5 of us, this will make a very interesting choice for us this year. I want to thank the commissioners that are already in that office, because if you listened last night, you can see how difficult of a job we have ahead of us. I think they've done a good job with what they've had to offer us. So I'm not taking anything away from them at this time. And any elected official that's in this room, you know what we're talking about when we talk about issues and when we talk about challenges, whether it's in this county, state, or federal government. They're important to us. It means the quality of life that we're going to have for a long, long time. My motto is, I'm probably older than these guys, the past taught me everything I know about the future. And if I can carry that on, and I can bring those things to good government in Clinton County, I think it will be very successful. Just think back of what we used to do and hope we can do it in the future. Thank you.
Gotta get this a little higher. Hi, good evening, everybody. My name is Pete Smouse, and quite frankly, this is my first attempt at running for an elected public office. However, I feel I've been preparing for this office most of my life because of my previous career and what I have done so far in public service. When I left my service with PennDOT, I had many years of experience of working with all the municipalities and various state agencies in Clinton County. And as I have pondered the opportunity and the blessing that it would be to be able to continue to serve additional years for this county, I realized as I did a self-assessment how much skill and knowledge I have that would be beneficial to this county. In saying that, though, I'm humbled, as I would allude to some of the things already said, by those of you who pursue public office. For me, it's a humbling experience to the degree that it is work, and it's a lot of work, and it's a lot of effort, and I'm grateful, and we should all be grateful when we find men and women who are willing to pursue public office, and sometimes not for a whole lot of compensation. In the case of municipal folks and things like that, people like that, school boards. With that said, it is going to be tough. It's going to be tough governing in the future, but local government can be the most effective government for the people. I have issues with things in Washington and Harrisburg, but I'm delighted with the opportunity to be able to serve in a local government capacity where government's closest to the people can be most effective. It is truly would be an honor to be able to do that for the people here in Clinton County, take the skills and what I know and continue to work in that capacity. As it already has been said, I want to thank the Express and the panelists for coming tonight. I want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. What I like is discussing the issues and getting beyond what one might call a popularity contest and get into the things that are important to the people, because that's what we're obligated to do when we choose our elected officials. So you guys are all being good Americans by coming out tonight and taking stock in what's going on. So again, I appreciate the opportunity, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the evening and discussing things with my fellow candidates. Thank you.
Good evening, I'm Jeff Snyder. I also want to thank the Express and panelists and all of you for turning out this evening. Give you a little history of my background. I've lived in Clinton County for 47 years. I graduated from Lock Haven High School and Lock Haven University. I've been married for 33 years. I've lived in Ward for 26 years. I've successfully owned and operated my own business, the Chatham Run Mill, for 33 years. That's given me the opportunity to work with and supervise employees. I've had the privilege of serving on the Keystone Central School Board for 20 years. I've held the position of president. I'm currently the vice president. I've chaired many committees, but most importantly, I've been the chairman of the Finance Committee for 18 years. This year, our tentative budget is $66 million, and we're still working on it. I know how to run a business, and I know how to put balanced budgets together. I think that a commissioner, especially with what's going on in this county, needs to be full-time. I'm in the process of selling my business so I can dedicate 100% of my time to serving the county in the office of a commissioner. The gas industry is big business. And as big business, they intend to protect their interests. Likewise, Clinton County needs dedicated county commissioners on a job every day protecting our interests. We must become proactive and always, instead of always being reactive. I believe I have the experience that's needed to provide the leadership that Clinton County needs now and in the future. And I certainly hope to have the opportunity to serve you as your next Clinton County Commissioner. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen, very much. We'll start with the first question with Lana.
Dave tells me I have to use the microphone tonight. I didn't last night, but I will tonight. When I look over here, I see these faces, and I recognize all of you wearing different hats. It's kind of interesting to see you tonight as candidates for Clinton County Commissioner. My question to you is, why do you want to be a Clinton County Commissioner? I'm sure you've heard all the controversial issues and all the problems and all the headaches and all the people complaining about the job. So why do you want to be a commissioner? And what makes you the best Republican to run for that office?
I guess I'm first. Why do I want to be a county commissioner? Well, I want to be a county commissioner first off because, frankly, I absolutely love politics. Having said that, I think I have some very natural and innate leadership skills that I can put forth for the county. I have absolutely, again, I've absolutely loved the time I've spent on city council. I had some concerns going to city council from city planning commission, because I love that as well. And if I continue to love every job that I move into this much, I'm sure I will love being your county commissioner as well. The county needs some aggressive leadership and some new thought processes for an economy that we're going into that will be unlike anything we've managed before. Yes, we still have the same offices at the county level that we've had before, but we're going to have to manage those offices differently. We have to put processes in place that by their nature keep costs down. That's not easy to do, but trust me, working in healthcare for 36 years, I have been in a position to keep costs low and to keep offering a quality service to the community. Now, understandably, I wasn't in management that whole time, but I did manage radiology through two complete computer revisions. So if we went from no computers to a new computer system. In the midst of having completed that, I managed radiology through a transition to a new owner of the hospital, which meant we did a lot of due diligence, and we seemed to do it over and over again for the same company. Following the due diligence and the transfer of ownership of the hospital, I managed through another all-new, completely changed computer system. I manage change very well, and I'm able to do that. I've been in leadership for a lot of years in many different capacities. I started as a scout executive at about 23 years old. Prior to that, and actually had been a tax assessor, which I just realized last night. I remembered I had been elected before. I was a tax assessor in Castanea Township back about 1978, 80, something like that. So I've been around for a long time and voluntarily taking on leadership roles.
Thank you, Dan.
Growing up was a hard part of life. I didn't have a father. But what I did have is I had some male mentors that brought me through the years as I grew older. And these mentors that I had really cared. So I developed a sense of caring. And through my life as an adult, I've mentored a lot of other children. I've helped people through rough times. And it was a challenge, but it was exciting for me because I just seemed to really care about people. So this has been a goal all my life, to represent this county and make it a better county to live in. And I feel that I have the skills, the business skills, to make it a better county, a more affordable county for us to live in. Thank you.
I guess I'd have to answer in a different way, and some people probably would. I think that my history up to this point has been a person who's always thought outside the box with different ideas, try to accomplish things that were better for everybody, not just myself. And I think I've been pretty successful at that over the years. I mean, a lot of people say to me, well, tell people what you've actually been involved in over the years. I've been involved in a lot of things, believe me. It started when I was young. I lived in Reno. And my mother, she started me, really. She was in the flaming foliage. She always took the Queen's Ball. The flaming foliage is a big thing in those days. And there was a commissioner by the name of Hamilton Proctor. I don't know if a lot of people know him. He'd ride down the road. It was a one-day-a-week job, okay? He'd wave out the window. Then there was Carl Kephart. He did a little bit more than just waving out the window. He loaded up the bus and took people where they needed to be. A couple times I went to Philadelphia on the bus to a Philadelphia athletic game, and it's pretty exciting years then. I mean, there was a lot of things going on, and the commissioner was just an everyday person. I think that can happen again. I really do. I'm involved with a lot of things, and I'll say this tonight, I'm deeply involved in the partnership, and what I say tonight is not what the partnership tells me to say, or what they probably believe in some cases, but I'm involved in trying to get some additional jobs here. I've done that all my life. I've sacrificed a lot of things in my life to do that, because I think it's better for Clinton County. I think that's our key. If you look around us today, I see people that are willing to go to, or they're able to go to work, that are sitting on a porch, and we're offering them jobs, and they're not going to work. There's reasons for that. If we can just do that in this county, we can do away with a lot of the social problems that we
30
have,
seconds.
and we can be successful. I can help with that. And as you know, I'm deeply involved in transportation right now. We've accomplished a lot in this county, and I want to accomplish more. And if I'm a county commissioner, I think I can be very effective in that result. Thank you.
When some folks mentioned to me about considering that, as I was in the career change, becoming a county commissioner, one of the first things I did was to start attending county commissioners' meetings. I did start that last summer, and I was able to do that, be able to attend most of their meetings since then. Met a lot of folks that I hadn't known, and I did that in an analysis of what the job entailed. The first thing I wanted to do was to define the job in my mind and look at what the purpose, what the role of the county commissioner was, and how well my skills and how well my experience would fit in that regard. As a manager in PennDOT in Clinton County, the interests of Clinton County were always number one. After I left that kind of public service, I didn't realize how much I loved that type of thing. And as I was examining a new career path, I realized that I could do many more good things for this county than I had already done. And a man's retirement doesn't, in my book, most men don't retire, if you will, until you can't work anymore. You gotta always be doing, in my opinion, something for your community or working. I was always 110% committed to that. I was 110% committed to the volunteer efforts that I've been involved in. I have managed people. I have managed specifically 85 people. I have managed budgets. I have got to know all corners of Clinton County. And I guess what I say in summary is why I want the job is I feel very comfortable doing this job. I feel very relaxed at approaching this job, and then that's part of the battle. Also, I know there's going to be challenges, and yet I face challenges. I worked for 7 governors, and I've been through furloughs and budget cuts, and I know how to react to those things, and I believe I can do that, and do that well for Clinton County. I'm a Republican because when I was 21 years old, I think the voting age was 21 then, I registered as a Republican.
30 seconds.
And that's where I've been all my life. I probably align more with Republican ideals when it comes to philosophies at the national or the state level. Locally, while campaigning as partisan, governing should not be. You govern together as a county commissioner. You work together, and you let go of that once you get in the chair. But I probably would take my Republican ideas more at those more philosophical things that happen at the federal level. But, thank you very much.
I'm a Republican just because it just always felt like I always was a Republican. I'm conservative. Hearing some of the other comments here, I grew up in a family of 7 children. I was next to the oldest. I started working on a farm when I was 11 years old. That's how I bought my school clothes. So I know the value of $1. I saw my niece a couple weeks ago, and her father is a surgeon, and Danielle had a pair of blue jeans on with the holes in them. I said, Danielle, boy, have times changed. I used to have to wear those to school because it's all I had. They were clean, but I said, now it's the style. I guess I was ahead of my time. I know the value of the dollar. A number of years ago, I don't think he would mind me using his name, we were going through the budget process. There was a line item for $30,000, and I was suggesting that we cut it. It wasn't something that was not going to have a direct effect on hurting the kids. Tom Bauman said, Jeff, I don't want to cut that, you know, we've had it for years. I said, okay, Mr. Bauman, here's what I suggest. Get your checkbook out, ready for checkout to Keystone Central for $30,000, and we'll keep it. And then next year, if you want it, get your checkbook out again. I spend every dollar, treat every dollar like it's my own, because I know how hard you people work to pay your taxes. And I know what happens if you don't pay your taxes. Of the 9 members on the school board, I probably get contacted by more people than the other 8 put together, and it might be because of my business and I'm accessible. I've helped a lot of people. Would I say that everyone's been happy with every decision that I've made? No, that's an impossibility. But I have tried, and I listen to people, and I work hard. I've worked hard my whole life, and I've made something of myself, and I'm proud of that. And I want the opportunity to be one of your next county commissioners, to show you what a full-time, dedicated commissioner can do for Clinton County. This gas industry is going to affect every one of us. We have to be proactive.
30 seconds.
I see what's going on in other counties. I'm going to get involved in that day one. We need to protect ourselves here. I have some other thoughts on the taxes and things, the severance tax, but I think that'll probably come up later, so I'll hold that till later. Thank you very much.
Okay, next question, Jerry. The first answer will be Dan Conway.
You know, as a resident of Clinton County, and I look over the past 3 years and see some of the issues that have faced the commissioners, and boy, these are right off the top of my head, the Mill Hall pool issue, the employee salary contracts, the healthcare changes. You know, we've had minimal tax increases, new storage facility at the prison, new financial record keeping system that the county has. If you had been a commissioner these past 3 years, you know, pick one of those, what would you have done differently, if anything? Or another issue that I haven't mentioned. What will set you apart from what has happened these past 3 years?
Dan Conway?
Looking back at the last 3 years, there was a lot of changes made. And I feel that I probably would have evaluated the situations in a different fashion as I would review, you know, what has happened with everything. As far as the gas company coming in, you know, I think that was an excellent plus to our economy, you know, and to our employment. And as far as I'm concerned, and this may come up, that I'm convinced that government will not let history repeat itself like over 50 years ago when the coal miners come in here and raped and stripped our ground, polluted our waterways, and just walked away from it. I feel strong about government, and I feel that we will not let that happen. And with today's technology, we have the resources to back it, to clean it if we have a problem. Thank you.
Had a lot of issues there, Jerry. The raise of salaries, I'll take that on head on, because what we heard when there was a raise in salaries, it was going to be 2%. And I think the mistake the commissioners made is they should have told the people exactly what that raise was. That's the only thing. I don't deny raises to anyone. I think if you work hard, you deserve a good living, so. That's the only issue I would have had with that, and I probably, if I would have been sitting in the seat at the time, I would have said, this is what we're doing. We're jumping this up in the scale, and this is what it is, and whether we can afford it. And I'll tell you, and I'll make a statement later how I think they afforded that. Because, you know, when we're talking about tight money here, I heard it last night, money doesn't fall out of trees, and that's for sure. But I actually think that they took the money from the landfill that came in. The landfill budget at the beginning of last year was to be $400,000. I have the figures, and I know Adam reported it last night, it's close to $1 million. So they looked at that somewhat, I'm sure, and I might be wrong about that, but when you have the money, you know, Rendell did this for years. Hey, we got this stimulus money, we've got this money, we got that. I think school board did the same thing over the years. They had the money, they spent. And that's one thing that I won't do. I'm a conservative, you can bet it is. I mean, I'm very conservative, not as much as my brother for sure. I mean, he's more conservative than I am, but we come from a family that, you know, the dollar meant something, and if we had a dollar, we went and bought an icicle, you know, 5 cents. And Jerry talked about the building down there. Yeah, the building's nice. I'm not sure that we would have built it at that time, or I would have decided to do that. I didn't have all the facts on that. And I'm not sure to this day whether you store things and you do it cheaper, or you buy it at market price. So that issue, what they're looking at in the future is moving the comm center down there. That might be a good
30 seconds.
Maybe we should move the comm center someplace else, closer to the hospital, where all the towers are and things that we don't have to rebuild. I don't know that, but if I become a commissioner, I'll find out for sure that that's what we're trying to do. So there are some things that we would possibly do different, but I wasn't there. I can only tell you what I'll do when I'm there,
3 minutes.
and that's where I come down on that. What the questions that he asked.